Persona 5 is the latest game in a series that has steadily gained popularity ever since its first installment, Persona 3, came out. Hey, that's not right. Oh, sorry, what? There's other Persona games. What about the original Persona and the two Persona 2 games? Yeah. Well, they don't exist, obviously. Damn. How about those Persona 6 and 7 rumors, though? That shit got me hype as fuck! So, getting back on topic. If at this point in time you're one of the, 3 people who haven't had a chance to play Persona 5, then I'd like to kindly ask you to sit your ass down, shut the hell up, and let me tell you about it.
You never see it coming.
Alright, without going into too much detail, what's Persona 5 about?
But did you know that you could perhaps kill somebody?
Yes, but I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friend.
So you're this kid who gets taken to court and put on probation for defending a woman from a drunk man, and pretty much every single adult who hears about it holds you in contempt for not minding your own goddamn business and just letting the bad thing happen instead.
That's what you get for sticking your nose in a matter between 2 adults.
Which is, not gonna lie, kinda fucked up. The theme at the beginning of the game is that adults just plain fucking suck and shit ain't fair for you. If only you had some kind of supernatural ability that would let you fight against them somehow. Why am I making this voice? But anyway, yeah, you do. You get an app on your phone. The writer must have been like fucking millennials. You get an app on your phone that lets you travel to a dimension made up from people's subconscious, and it gets warped and twisted based on their ego and desires. Also, under the right emotional conditions, it's possible to awaken your persona in that world. So what's a persona? A persona is the manifestation of your inner self that is summoned to grant you the power to fight back against your oppressors and claim your freedom. That's how you fight back against the shitty adults. You go into the other world and beat down the personification of whatever desire or fixation is causing someone to be an asshole, and by doing so, you cause them to have a change of heart, which is referred to as stealing their heart. Back in the real world, the adult is overcome with guilt and confesses to any and all crimes and injustices that they caused. Basically, it's just a really convoluted version of Kids Next Door. Now, before I start talking about the gameplay, I absolutely must mention that there's a fair bit of setting, story, exposition, and talking at the beginning of the game, before you get your persona or even get the chance to explore the first dungeon. And I'm mentioning this because I know for a fact that it's been a deal breaker for some people when it comes to getting into the Persona series. Of course, in this game, you do get the option to skip cutscenes and fast forward through dialogue, but then you risk ending up not really knowing what's going on or the reasons to why you're doing things, and then looking like a fucking idiot because of it.
It's joke.
Alright, so the biggest thing about the game is actually going through your everyday life. Yeah, that's right. In a game where you can explore a strange, psychological world, use the power of your inner self to fight enemies, and have a Phantom Thief alter ego, the biggest, most important thing is actually developing and improving your social parameters, forming bonds with other people, and growing closer to all those people so you can deepen your bonds with them. And I know there's people out there who've never played Persona thinking, well, why do I want to do all that boring shit when I can just be fighting demons all the time? And I mean, you can, but the incentive for cultivating an everyday life pays off when it comes to fusing and summoning personas. You hang out with your bro, he has the Chariot Arcana. When you fuse for a persona that has the same arcana, it gains bonus experience once it's summoned, and it grows beyond its base level. You hang out with a hot goth doctor, she has the Death Arcana, same things happen. Right now, maybe I got you asking, okay, I gotta hang out with people, fair enough, so why do I want to invest time on the main character? Because sooner or later, someone's gonna say to you, hey, go read a book, you fucking dumbass, you're too much of a stupid shit to be talking to me right now. Or maybe you need to increase your courage so you can have the guts to call up a maid and be like, hey girl, I want you to put on these cat ears and say yeah while I give you the security number on the back of my guardian's credit card. Of course, I'm just paraphrasing here, but I'm under the pretense that you're smart, so you get the idea. As the game progresses, you want to have as many maxed out bonds with people as you can get, because not only will they give you advantages and rewards along the way, but you'll also unlock some of the best and strongest personas in the game, which you won't be able to get through any other means. Don't stress about it too much though. Persona 5 gives you a lot of free time to explore different parts of the city and engage in various activities. The only thing is that sometimes when you're just minding your own goddamn business, fucking Goro's gonna be there. Nah, I'm just kidding. I actually really like Goro. Majima. You're free to use your time however you want. I just prefer to spend as much time in the real world as I can, and then have some really intense level grinding sessions to get my levels cut up and past the average. And since I'm pretty much already on the subject, the combat can be a little overwhelming when you first look at the types of attacks and elements. I mean, really, just look at this shit. You got physical, gun. Gun? Gun. Fucking gun? Who came up with this shit? Gun. Fire, ice, electric, wind, psychokinesis, nuclear, bless, and curse. Every persona and enemy in the game is weak to, resistant, or immune to varying combinations of those types of damage. There's one more that's not on display, which is called Almighty. They're costly spells that do neutral damage, but nothing can block them. On top of that, there's all manner of buffs, debuffs, heals, and ailments, which are pretty self-explanatory in their own descriptions. So what I'm trying to say is that you got me at least 7 different kinds of fucked up if you think I'm gonna get into that. Now, let's talk about the battles. They're turn-based. What the fuck do you want me to tell you? Okay, but for real. I get the general feeling that players these days prefer real-time action, but honestly, with all the shit that's already going on, it's better this way. That's just my humble opinion. So let's say you hit an enemy with an attack that it's weak against. What happens is, you knock it down and get an extra turn. If you knock down every enemy, you can initiate an all-out attack, which every active member of your current party can do to inflict big damage all across the board. You gotta watch your ass though, because enemies can also knock you and members of your party down. The one advantage that the player character has is that he's able to switch personas every turn, so by having more personas you can switch to a bigger variety of resistances and attacks. Another thing that can happen is that sometimes you get the option to talk to your enemies, which can lead to them joining you as personas, or you can ask them for items or money. Just try not to press your luck too much, because they do come with attitudes and they might get pissy and summon reinforcements. But you can improve your ability to talk to them and make the whole process easier on you. This is why you gotta come back on the fact that you gotta hang out with people because they can let you do really cool stuff. As a final note to this, you have the rush option, which will fast forward the whole battle, but all your party characters, including the protagonist, will use their basic attack command until you choose to stop or the battle ends. Finally, I want to talk about the music. The soundtrack is fantastic. It's got bop after bop after bop. Where's the fucking Urban Dictionary? It slaps, is what I'm trying to say. I'd even go as far as to say that the Persona 5 soundtrack dragged me by the collar out into the street and beat the shit out of me. All in all, Persona 5 is a pretty great game. Is it the best game ever? No. I personally had some issues with the way some characters were treated later on compared to when they were first introduced. Girl, I am so sorry. And I'm aware I'm coming off as a goddamn weep for this one, but in my most humble opinion, if you're going to localize a piece of Japanese media and keep honorifics like senpai, san, kun, chan, then you should also go out of your way and try to pronounce Japanese names properly.
This has nothing to do with you, Sakamoto.
Takamaki!
Sakamoto.
Takamaki!
It's like running a race. If you're going to do it all the way through. Don't just fucking stop halfway and call it good right there. Another thing is that even though dungeons have designated spots where you can save your game, it sometimes feels like they're far and few in between, meaning that you're gonna need to commit to your exploration for a good while before you can save again. The next best thing would be suspending the game or just putting your console in rest mode, but it's still not exactly optimal. The game already lets you save whenever you want outside of dungeons, so I guess limiting it inside of them adds to the challenge, because if you die, you have to start from your last save. But I feel like since the feature was already fully there, they should have just kept it. Persona 5 is not a perfect game, obviously, but it's enjoyable, it's fun, it plays great, and I highly recommend it to anyone out there who hasn't played it yet. These days, a lot of pressure is put onto the futile attempt of trying to make or find a perfect game, when in reality, the perfect game doesn't... Monkey. Monkey. if you didn't realize it by now, this was not a review. I was just... wait for it. Telling you about it. Until next time, I'm Ed, and don't let me catch you playing any bad games. Hey, thanks for watching my video! I really appreciate that, and I think that you're cool. If you enjoyed it, it would really help me out if you'd share it on social media. And speaking of social media, I'm on different platforms, and you can check them out by clicking on the video description. Now, if you're still listening to me talk, you legally owe me a like, so hit that fucking button before I sue you, and leave a comment telling me which Persona 5 characters like minions, and which ones would play Fortnite on console. Bonus points if you can tell me which ones do both.